Give it up for Amber Lehman! Oh boy, hooray, yeah! Oh boy. Oh, so, I'm pretty nervous. I'm so nervous, I spilled a bunch of wine on my shirt earlier, and I was like, oh no, everyone's gonna think I'm drunk. And I was like, oh yeah, wait, I am drunk. Yeah, I spilled a bunch of wine. I don't think you can see it anymore, but I thought I should bring it up in case you can see it. That's like, I have severe anxiety issues, and so I'm like, what if they can't see it? Then they think I'm drunk, and that they're gonna send me to a home or something. And I was like, that's outrageous. That's an outrageous thing to think. But yeah, I'm nervous. Because I'm unprepared. I'm always unprepared. I don't know if any of you are like me, where you do one of those things where I thought, this is important. This is an important show. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write my set. This was yesterday. I'm going to write my set now so I'll remember it. And then the next thing I know, I wake up 20 minutes ago and I got leaves in my hair and I'm like, what's going on? Where are we? What's going on? Oh God, oh fuck, oh no. And now I'm here and I'm like, words are things, wine's all over my shirt, what do I do? That's literally what's happening right now. Like I said, I am nervous. By the way, in case you're like, oh wow, she is nervous, she's talking really fast. That's just the way I always talk. That's who I am as a comic, that's who I am as a person, and if you don't enjoy it, sorry, get off the train now. I don't know what else to do for you. But yeah, I'm super nervous, and I always say that when I'm on stage if I am nervous. I think that's important because telling the truth in art is important, and comedy is fart, and I feel like that's close enough. But a lot of comics don't like that. A lot of comics don't like that I tell the truth all the time because they're always like, never ever tell the audience that you're unprepared or that you're nervous. You wouldn't want a doctor who's nervous and unprepared, would you? No, you gotta fake it until you make it. And I'm like, well, yeah, sure. I don't want a doctor who's nervous and unprepared, but I also don't want a doctor who's faking it until he makes it. I don't want to go into the office and have that guy be like, okay, hop up on the table and let's look at that vagina. Sticks his finger in my belly button like a dipstick, and he's like, oh, great, Pep's fine. Pep is just fine. I don't want any of that. I get a lot of advice as a comic. I think part of it is because I'm fairly young. I'm 26. I graduated college just a couple years ago. Thank you. Not to brag, it was a very prestigious school. Okay. But anyway, I graduated college a couple years ago, and I feel like being 26 is a very odd place to be in life. Because right now, I hate Facebook more than anything, because Facebook is just like a list of everyone's successes and all your failures all just put together. And I hate going on Facebook because like a lot of people I graduated with are like really super successful. Like there was this one girl, we graduated 2014, the exact same time, and she was like, I just bought my first home. I'm a homeowner. And I was like, that's rude. How dare you? How dare you? You're not even being a good millennial right now. How many avocados are you buying? None! Okay. 0! You're a terrible person. Anyway, and then just a couple weeks ago, she updated saying like, oh my God, you guys, I just bought my first brand new car. And I was like, okay, now you're out there trying to hurt people. Is what you're trying to do. But she lives in Oklahoma, so how happy can she be? So, just moving on. Yeah, I graduated college a couple years ago. That was fun. Not to brag, it was an Ivy League school. Like I said, not to brag. Thank you. You are very nice. You're making me feel very good about myself. It's not a good Ivy League school. Yes, there are bad ones. I went to Dartmouth, and every single time I tell people I went to Dartmouth, like, they don't do anything, because, like, if you say you went to Harvard, they're like, oh, Harvard, and, like, fancy cheese falls out of their mouth or something. But when I tell them I went to Dartmouth, they're like, okay, and I have to quietly go, like, it's an Ivy League school. And they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. And they just like turn over. That's because my school didn't do anything important or valuable. Like, we're not famous for anything cool. The only thing we're famous for is we got in a really big scandal because we were hazing our kids too bad in fraternities. It was like a huge scandal. It was on CNN and everything. Also, sad thing, this is the first time we were on CNN, so we're all like, that's bad that we're hazing all those kids, but like, yeah, we're on the news. But yeah, it was a really big thing. We were hazing these kids way, way too hard. And this kid wrote this big expose about how hard we were hazing these kids. And they would do outrageous things. I'm going to tell you everything about this kid because I hate this kid. He was a part of a fraternity called SAE. Sorry if you joined it, it's a national thing. But they would do this crazy thing where they would fill a kiddie pool full of vomit and make the kids wrestle in it. That sounds like a fun time. You're right, that is really gross. That's not the grossest thing they did, though. Buckle your seatbelts, it's about to get worse. They made these things called vomlets. You guys got that? In case you guys didn't put two and two together, vomlets is a combination of the word omelet and vomit. So what they do is they make omelets out of vomit. And make pledges eat them. And of course, that's terrible that those poor kids had to eat vomit. That's so gross. That's awful. But also, I know, like, they didn't have to, like, where were they getting all this vomit is my main question. Because they didn't have the pledges yet, so they had to provide their own vomit. And I don't know about you guys, but vomiting is my least favorite thing to do. Like, that's my biggest fear. Like, it's vomit's number one, dying's number two, and like making a phone call is my number three. Like, those are my things that scare me the most of all time. And so I was like wondering, like, first of all, they had to provide tons of vomit for this kiddie pool, tons for this omelet. So like, are they just standing over kiddie pools just all day and like, they are gonna hate this. But since they did go to an Ivy League school, all those kids are investment bankers now, so whatever. But at least that's one thing that makes me feel good is that if I'm ever talking to a Wall Street banker, I can be like, you ate vomit. And I never ate vomit of my own accord, so. But yeah. Another fun thing about my school is we used to have, our mascot used to be an Indian, like a fighting Indian sort of thing. But we changed it because that was racist, which is a good thing. I remember there was a kid in my class who was very upset that we changed it. He's like, I don't even get why we changed it. It's not even like any Native Americans are alive anymore. And I was like, well, I regret to inform you. Somebody left the cupboard open. And here I am. Which felt so good to do because hardly ever do you just get to like reveal your race to someone, like as a Native American. Like the opportunity is literally as rare as we are. So, yeah. I'm a super fun Native American person. Congratulations to all of you. A special occasion for all of you. And if you see me after the show, you can rub my belly and I'll give you one piece of turquoise. So, I didn't know that being Native American was like a really cool or special thing until I was in kindergarten. And you guys know that like Thanksgiving play that you guys do, like everyone does it. You all play Pilgrims and Indians. And my class is doing it in kindergarten. And I really wanted to be an Indian because I'm Native American. That just made sense to me. And at the time, my kindergarten teacher wouldn't let me. And now I realize the reason why is because it seems hella racist if you make the one Native American kid be the Indian in the Thanksgiving play. But instead what she did was she made me single-handedly responsible for the genocide of my own people. And I think that's way worse. That's 1,000 times worse. I remember I used to do that joke and I told my mom that joke and she was like, oh yeah, did you know that we were at the Battle of Little Bighorn? And I was like, oh, that's really cool, actually. And my mom was like, oh, yeah, but also we were on Custard side. And I was like, oh, no. Oh, no, that's not a thing you can brag about. Life imitates art. This is terrible. Ah! Yeah, we were at the Battle of Little Bighorn. In case you guys want to know, I'm a registered Arikara Indian. I always feel like it's important to say that because I get tons of white guys asking me after the show, being like, what kind of Indian are you? What kind of Native? Hey, where are you going? What kind of Native American are you? And white guys are so interested in knowing what kind of Native American you are, and also like blood quantum for some reason. I have no idea why it's valuable to you guys. Like, I don't know why it's so important for you guys to know what tribe we are. Like, I don't know if you're collecting us like Pokemon, or you're like, all right, I met an Arikara and a Cherokee. That's 2. That's 559 to go. Okay, I gotta catch them all. All right. So let's see, what else is interesting about me? Fun fact about me, another fun fact about me is that every guy I've ever dated has cheated on me. Oh, that wasn't fun for you? It wasn't fun for me either. It was 0 fun for me. It was only fun for 2 people who are not here right now. Every guy I've ever dated has cheated on me, and you hear this a lot, like when we be like, if you get cheated on constantly, you have to take a look and see what you're doing wrong. So finally I did, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? And I realized that I was getting cheated on so much because I'm way too chill of a girlfriend. Because every time I'd be like, why are you cheating on me? They'd always be like, well, I don't know, you didn't yell at me when I was playing video games. I thought it was okay to fuck other people. And I'm like, no, none of those things have the same properties at all. I'm not in Skyrim being like, man, I could really fuck a bitch right now. That's never once happened. I'm mostly concerned about collecting herbs at the time. And I think also part of the big reason that I got cheated on so much is because I come from a long line of women who've been cheated on. I've been cheated on, my mother's been cheated on, her mother before her, and it's a good tradition that I'm so glad I get to carry on, and I hope my daughter's cheated on. I remember when I found out that my mom had been cheated on, I was sitting on the couch, I was about 9 years old, and I was watching a Roseanne marathon, as you do when you're 9 years old. And there's this big, huge story arc where Dan cheats on Roseanne with his mother's nurse, and the climax of the season is when Roseanne finds out. And so the moment that happens, my mom leaned over to me on the couch, and she goes, see, Amber, even Dan cheats. And I was like, oh no, not Dan. Not our blue-collar Jesus, oh no. I completely stopped watching Roseanne after that. I became a real Grace Under Fire kid after that. I was like, no more, none of this. But my dad cheated on my mom. I voted for Trump. He's a real bad hombre, just bad guy all around. Yeah, he's also a hoarder. Like I said, my dad, class act, 100% gold medal on this guy. But yeah, he's a hoarder, and that's fun. He doesn't like any of the things you guys know what a hoarder is, right? Okay, yeah. You collect magazines, things that don't matter, pogs, what have you. But yeah, he doesn't like any of my comedy. He loves me, he doesn't like any of my comedy. He goes, well, I don't know, Amber, you're just always so down on yourself. You just have such low self-esteem. And I was like, well, Dad, it's really hard to have good self-esteem when your dad says, you are the most important thing in the world to me, and you don't know if he's talking to you or a stack of newspapers from 2006. Can really mess with your heads at times. I always want to do more material about how my dad's a hoarder, but it's something that's really just unrelatable to any audience member whose father is not also a hoarder, because I'm like, hey, you guys ever had to hand wash the dishes because your dishwasher was full of pogs? No? Just me? Okay. Just move on. Yeah. I think a lot of the reason I have such low self-esteem is because I grew up ugly. I was a very ugly child. How ugly were you? Well, I'll tell you. So I was so ugly that I did not have sex until I was 22 years old, which is very late for a lady. If you make it to 25, they take you out back and shoot you. Just way too late for a lady. Even though I was a very ugly child, I guess I didn't have sex until I was 22 years old, I did have all of the main concerns that children, not children, but young people who do have sex have. I was always super concerned about becoming pregnant just all the time, despite being a virgin. I was like, oh no, what if I have the baby Jesus? This could be the worst thing ever if I have the baby Jesus. I was so concerned about immaculate conception all the time because that really suck if you had the baby Jesus. Because first of all, it's just like regular teen pregnancy stuff. Like, oh no, I'm gonna have a baby. But then also you are responsible for the next Jesus. And I was like, oh, what if I fuck Jesus up? Like, what if he's into Dragon Ball Z, and it's all my fault. And then everyone's like, way to go, Amber. You really ruined the Jesus for everyone. I'm like, I know. And then also on top of that, there's no way to get rid of the baby Jesus whatsoever. You can't give him up for adoption. I know you certainly can't abort him. That's written in the rules. That's the first thing God said. He was like, let there be light, and also don't abort my son, because no, you can't do that. Just don't do that. And even if you did abort the baby Jesus, it doesn't matter because he's going to be coming back in 3 days. You are going to be responsible for that kid. And that's it for me. You guys have a great rest of your night.